Peace, children of light, welcome to another reading, where we explore the quest for knowledge, quest of striving to become the perfect human being. How then can man be brought to the highest level of perfection? We constantly speak of reaching the higher plane of self, but what ideas, what kind of mind may lay us upon that golden throne? The ancient Greek philosophers, those more in the sophist school of thought, spoke of this. First, before we simply just dive onto the thinking of a sophist, what and who were the sophists? This was an era marked by the rise of democracy in Athens, during which public debate and rhetorical skill became indispensable tools for participation in civic life. Protagoras of Abdera, who was a widely recognized sophist, known for his assertion that man is the measure of all things, signifying that truth and morality are relative to each individual. The Greek thinker once spoke, "More men are good by training than by nature." What does this tell us, reader? So then, a worthy character within the matrix system can be cultivated. Your character can be developed. Another sophist, not much named, once wrote, to reach the highest level of perfection, man can examine these rules. The man must have a natural capacity towards it, somewhat a gift of fortune dispelled upon him, luck as some would call it. The man must be a lover of the beautiful and good, industrious by nature and a precocious learner, and passing much time on these things. And man cannot waste not a day, not an hour navigating from those rules. And by far ultimately man, every man must be preeminently master of himself. Self-mastery seems to be an understood concept across various disciplines. The ancient Greek philosophy of Stoicism, founded by Zeno of Citium, stressed the importance of mastering oneself. The Stoics believed that true wisdom lay in knowing what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and what we cannot control, the external events. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, taught that sovereignty over one's own mind is the essence of freedom and the bedrock of virtue. In Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita speaks at length about self-mastery. Krishna advises Arjuna to control his mind and desires through discipline. When a person is able to control the mind and senses and renounces attachment to the sense gratification, he is established in the self and is said to be a man of steady wisdom. Bhagavad Gita 2:55. This echoes the sentiment that man must be the master of himself to achieve higher spiritual states. It seems as once man is able to master the self, then in this mode of thought, he then comes to know the true law. He comes to know what the poet Pindar of Greece spoke on. Law is the king of all, of mortals as well as of immortals. Let this poem of Christus, another man of ancient Greece, who highlights the concept of the laws, telling how God enjoys an endless life, hears with his mind and sees, and taketh thought and heeds things, and his nature is divine, so that he hearkens to men's every word, and has the power to see men's every act. The gods will surely mark it, for in them wisdom resides. We are seeing that it's imperative that man come to know these laws, and come to know these laws very deeply, rather than always ask and state the power of the laws. What will happen if man decides to fracture these laws? Take, for example, the law of attraction, also referred to in Hermeticism and modern spiritual teachings. This law posits that like attracts like. A mind shrouded in negativity will invite further negativity. Ignoring this principle leads to a life filled with incongruous and undesirable experiences. or even fracturing the law of divine oneness. Every tradition speaks to the interconnectedness of all beings. Ignoring this results in separation, leading to feelings of isolation and disconnection from the source. Yahshua spoke about this when he said, "I and the Father are one," John 10:30, reminding us of our inherent unity with the divine. What if you break the law of rhythm? Taught in Hermeticism, this law shows the natural cycles and swings in life. Ignoring it can lead to resistance and suffering as one fails to navigate the natural ebb and flow of existence. Recognizing and harmonizing with this rhythm, one achieves balance. Those are a few of the universal laws that govern this matrix system. To first even get a understand of the laws, to understand that laws are governing our way of being, we still have to first understand the self. Let us examine some wisdom told throughout the ages. In the Eastern mode of thought, we find this story encoded as well. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. This principle suggests that through a state of non-resistance and natural action, Wu Wei, one can achieve a state of perfection and harmony. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advises Arjuna, "He who has conquered his mind is a friend, but a man who has failed to do so remains his own enemy." The purification process involves shedding ego, desires, and attachments to achieve a state of divine consciousness. Plato, another revered Greek philosopher, spoke of virtue as integral to the soul's harmony. A soul adorned with wisdom, courage, moderation, and justice reflects the highest state of being. True virtue is not a mere external display, but an inner state manifesting through actions. It highlights as we as students of wisdom develop and yearn with trueness within our souls. As we seek to become our highest level of self, we will inevitably come to know there is a law that governs all things. It is our duty to come to study that law. For ignorance of the law is no excuse. We will come to know ourselves, past, present, and future, given that we are a constant flux being, always in motion, dealing with multiple states at one time. Now, child of light, what will you do with this new mind?